what is smoke alarm compliance? I've seen all sorts of different combinations. People say, yeah, I'm compliant, I've got alarms in every bedroom, or mine are all photo optical. There's a lot more to compliance than just a few things. You've got the Fire and Emergency Services Amendment Act, which was an amendment to the Fire Safety Act. So all of the things in the Fire Safety Act still apply. And the National Construction Code, all of the things that it says in there still apply. So in other words, you've got two codes already there that have a whole bunch of requirements, and then you've got this Amendment Act that's tagged onto the back of it. So you need to have a whole lot of different things. Now let's look at the first thing, is the type of alarm. So you have to have photo optical alarms. The words in the code are actually "and not ionisational alarms." In other words, there's only two types of alarms, photo optical and ionisation. So if they're not allowed to be ionisation, then of course they're going to be photo optical. So they've got to be photo optical, they've got to be interconnected with all of the other alarms. So if one alarm goes off, they all go off. Fair enough, except, well, you can't leave old hardwired alarms there and come along and put wireless ones next to them, because they're not interconnected. And even a non-required alarm must do everything that a required alarm can do. A hardwired alarm must be replaced with a hardwired alarm. So you can't just pull down a hardwired and put a wireless over the top of it. If there's already cables there, you've got to have a hardwired alarm there. You can go wireless for the other ones. Then there's all of the spacing, all of the locations. So the National Construction Code talks about sloping ceilings and where you can place. Smoke goes up. You can't put it on the low side of the ceiling. Then there's, putting them on the ceiling, not on the walls. If you can't put them on the walls, if you can't put them on the ceiling, you can put them on the walls, but then there's very specific locations, heights that you have to be at. So distances from doors in hallways. It used to just say in hallways outside of bedrooms. What if that hallway is like 50 metres long? Do you think one alarm's going to do it? No. 1670.6 says 3 metres from any bedroom door. Then you've got spacing, distances from air grills, distances from walls, distances from lights, all sorts of different things. So all of these things come into play. One of the most important things is that it has to have the new Australian standard on it, AS 3786-2014. So if it doesn't have the 2014 stamp after the 3786, it doesn't meet the code. So, and 3786 is all about how the smoke alarm is built, what it can do. So that's another thing, you've got to have that code on it. You've got to have the right locations, you've got to have the right number of alarms in the right locations. Even down to sound pressure levels, the required amount of noise that they will put out so they can wake you up. Little things like a hardwired alarm must have a light on it, a green light, to show that the power is available to it. Lots of little things. So there's more to being compliant than just saying, yep, I've got them in bedrooms and they're photo optical and they're interconnected. There's a whole lot more to that. And there's so many different codes involved. So people that are just buying them online, I can't believe they've got no idea. They've never read half of the standards. They've never looked at the National Construction Code. They've never looked at the Fire Safety Act. They've got sucked in by the people on TV saying, you don't need an electrician, just go and do it yourself. But often they've got hardwired alarms there and they're just coming along and putting another alarm next to that one. You can't do that. You can't just put that's two different smoke alarm systems. And what that means is the wireless one's not interconnected to the hardwired ones. So you're breaking the regulations just in that one thing. It's all about life safety and early warning. I don't know how anyone can think, yeah, I value my life and the life of my family, but I'm just going to buy the cheapest thing that I can online and stick them up on the ceiling myself. I suppose it's better than nothing. But don't think for a moment that you're compliant. The insurance companies are looking for any excuse to not pay when something goes wrong. You know, they go, okay, well, so yeah, you've self-installed, have you? So you must need to be a competent person, which is a person that has skills, training, or experience in the area. The house burnt down because the alarms were in a dead air space, you know, in a spot. Would you believe there's spots that you can put an alarm that it'll never work. The smoke will never make it to the alarm. So all of these things come into play. If you really care about life safety, you wouldn't just leave that to chance. I've been doing this for so many years, well over 35 years, and I'm still learning stuff. Even different classes of buildings where people are unrelated people. Class 1B, where they've got it, those smoke alarms have got to bring on evacuation lighting, that sort of thing. There's so many codes, there's so many standards. Don't leave it to chance. Use a professional. It's worth paying the extra money, as well as knowing which brands are going to be the best. You know, we've got so much experience in different alarms. We've got over 10,000 properties with different real estate agents, so we get to see. I've got a beeping alarm spreadsheet. I keep track of all the ones that call up and say these are going off. So we know which brands work. We're not tied at the hip to any particular manufacturer. We're not getting any kickbacks to use their or promote their products. We use the ones that we know are the best, but we give the choice, because you know, the sellers might go, yeah, I don't care if it goes off every 10 minutes, just give me the cheapest alarm. That's their choice. They're selling, they're price focused, so we offer a choice, good, better, or best. But the whole thing is, there's so much. What is compliance? There is a whole lot of different aspects to compliance, and you need to have a professional that knows all the standards, knows all the codes, and gets it right. It's also handy to have a QBCC license in smoke alarms, so that certificate means something. It means that you know the code. It means that, yes, when I say that is compliant, it genuinely is. I'm Scott from Glasshouse Home Safety.